one of the most amazing stories that I had heard about during our trip was this baby chimpanzee that was rescued by Antonio, who was our group leader. He founded a company called Gabon Untouched, which is focused on ecotourism in pretty much in and throughout the entire country, as well as conservation. Now, long story short, there was a time where he was simply just going home and he saw somebody carrying a bag and there was a hand sticking out of the bag. But him being him, he noticed it looked like a chimpanzee's hand. And all Antonio is about is conservation and animal welfare. So he went over to the person and had a conversation with them. And he found out that the baby chimp is probably a rescue and its mother had probably been killed for bushmeat. The baby chimp was probably just a couple of years old. It was super small. The growth was stunted, probably due to the malnutrition, but that led to a whole bunch of developmental consequences. And the fact that it was so severely malnourished meant that it had a low probability of surviving. But nonetheless, Antonio eventually got it from that person and was able to get it from his location to the national park. So while we were there today, we were also able to hear a little bit of the updates about this amazing case and amazing story. The chimpanzee is being taken care of 24/7 and slowly growing. So it's honestly a beautiful story and very impactful story in my opinion. And I feel like this just goes to show the unplanned nature of conservation and animal welfare. And the fact that being able to stay prepared, stay ready, and be willing to switch up your plans because that's what's needed in the moment is so important when it comes to improving situations like this. Because if he wasn't ready, he wouldn't have been able to help out. But needless to say, it was very beneficial and a very amazing story. Then one of the big conversations that we kept on having multiple times over and over again was a conversation about habituation. And habituation is essentially the desensitization process for animals in response to humans. In gorillas, this process usually takes like 6 to 7 years, I believe. Six, seven. But halfway through is the most dangerous because the animals lose their fear and wild response to humans, where in the wild they usually try and steer clear of us. But when they get to that point where they're starting to get habituated, they'll be a little bit more aggressive because if you don't provide them with the food that you're using to try and habituate them or doing the things that you're doing as you would when they're explicitly in their habituation program, they aren't really scared of us anymore. So they'll do whatever they feel necessary to do. And one of the crazy phenomenon that's been seen by different local people as well as different vets and workers at the national parks is that the different groups of gorillas that are habituated, they'll actually move a bit closer to us if they're being encroached upon by a wild group of gorillas because they know that the wild ones are actually still scared of us, but they know that they're not and we're not going to harm them. So it's a very interesting dynamic, but of course, safety does come into question with all these interesting social dynamics. But nonetheless, everything that I saw today truly fits into Gabon being referred to as one of the last Edens. From being able to go from the rainforest to the savannah to the coast, being able to see crocodiles, hogs, elephants, hippos, buffaloes all in the same area, all thriving and coexisting in such a natural way is something that you can't quite put into words or quantify. I really try and put it into words every time I show pictures or videos or even just talk about my experience, but it's genuinely so hard to do because there's no place like Gabon. And that's why after today, my total understanding of conservation shifted even beyond what I had originally thought of it as. But also because it tied in a way to a sort of humility. The fact that we need to be able to express that emotion and experience humility in order to be proper stewards of conservation, not only for us as people, but also for the animals, the plants, as well as the complex history of the land's past, present, and future.